Can you not make a Vine reference for 5 minutes of your life? Just 5. The police are coming after me because I keep making fucking Vine references. Hi everyone, it's Rory, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a rant review. And at first, I wasn't really going to film this. I read this book like 3 weeks ago, complained about it to every single person in my life, and I was just not going to film it because I didn't really want one of my first videos to be like complaining about a book. I wanted to start on a more positive note, but I'm still thinking about this book 3 weeks after I finished it because I disliked it so much. And that book is We Contain Multitudes by, I believe it's pronounced Sarah Henstra. I was so disappointed by this book. Let me tell you, I wanted to love this book. I spent, how much is this book? I spent $18 on this book. I spent 20 bucks. I could have bought lunch for work for 3 days instead of buying this book. I hate the fact that I spent money on this. Okay, so the book is about these two guys. They go to the same high school. One is named Jonathan, or Joe for short, and the other is named Curl. And they are assigned to write letters back and forth to each other by their English teacher. And they fall in love while writing letters. I'm gonna start with what I liked about the book. First of all, this cover, fucking gorgeous. Oh my god, do you see this? I saw this cover, and I'm not even gonna lie, 30% of the reason why I bought this book is because of the cover. It's absolutely gorgeous. Ugh. Another thing I liked about the book is it's written beautifully. Like, I don't really have an issue with the writing in it so much because it's just beautiful writing. It is. It absolutely is. No, seriously, the writing is just gorgeous. It's based on Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman has gorgeous writing, and just like, that's not the issue. So I guess we should get into what the issues are. I feel so negative just like talking about why I dislike this book so much, but like it's so disappointing. The characters are boring. That's the easiest way to say it. The characters are boring. I wanted to like them, but Jonathan, Joe, which is this one, is obsessed with Walt Whitman, and he dresses like Walt Whitman, and he loves old music because his father's a musician and his sister's a musician and he's a musician, and he's super duper like, if you don't like me, then what's the point in pretending? Like, and I want to like that, but he just seemed pretentious. I'm sorry. He was so pretentious. And there's that. And then there's Curl. And Curl, I feel bad, but he was boring the entire way through. Okay, so Curl is going through heavy stuff, and I don't want to like diminish that. It is extremely heavy. He's got a brother who just got out of the army. He was injured in the Iraq War, and so he's dealing with that. But more importantly, he has a uncle who his father died from a roofing accident, and his mother married his uncle, who's now a stepfather. So his stepfather / uncle is abusing him and is an alcoholic, and when he drinks too much, he goes to try to, beat on someone, and so Curl will put himself in the way of his mother so that his uncle will beat him instead of her. And it's very heavy stuff, and I'm not saying that it's not, but like, he had 2 modes. He was like, either he was so boring that I was like, it took me forever to get through the first half of this book. Like, I started and stopped it like 7 times, but I just thought maybe it was you know, too slow, but it wasn't. Both of them were boring, but he especially was boring. And then later on, he just like goes into like PTSD attacks, and I'm not trying to like diminish PTSD attacks because absolutely they are awful, but like either he was boring or he was angry. There were the other characters that were mostly Joe's friends, there, and family. There is Joe's father, Liam, who honestly is a bad dad. I'm sorry, he is. He barely like talks to his children, and he's just like, he's a cool dad, but he's a cool dad in a way that just like, I'm your friend, I'm not your parent. Well, these kids fucking need parents, I'm sorry. Then there's Shayna, who is Joe's sister, and she is awful. She's awful. Like, from the very beginning, she's just a bitch. Part of it is justified because there's a whole mystery of what happened to Joe and Shayna's mother. Their father has been telling them things, but he doesn't really talk about how she died or how or what happened, and he's kind of gotten rid of every picture of her. Like, she's very much not there in her life, not only because she's physically not there, but just because the memory of her has kind of been taken away, and he doesn't talk to them about it. And so she feels like she needs to know who her mother is, and starts kind of walking down her mother's path without even really knowing she's doing it. But she's just angry at her father and her brother and her best friend, and she does horrible stuff for absolutely no reason. And just like, I get that you're angry and that you don't know who your mother is and that you're just like trying to figure out who you are, but she stops going to class and she complains about everything, and she's just a bitch. And she does something that I'm going to talk about later on that absolutely, I hate her. I'm sorry, I hate her. Then there's Shayna's friend, Braun, who is obsessed. She's probably the only character I ended up liking. Oh my gosh, she's still boring, but like, she's all about like getting her portfolio for college together, but she's also that type of friend where she realizes that Shayna is going down a wrong turn, and she tells someone, and then Shayna absolutely treats her like shit afterwards. And whoo, oh my gosh. And then on Curl's side, there's really only two characters that you need to know anything about, and that is his brother Mark, who just got out of the Iraq war, but he's not even really there until like the last fourth of the book. He's cool. I ended up kind of liking him, but I barely know him, so and then there's his uncle, and his uncle's an abuser, so naturally I'm not gonna like him. His character was literally just the fact that he abuses his nephew. There was nothing else to him. Absolutely nothing. So that's it. The characters were boring, and that's one reason why I didn't like it. So another reason why I don't like this book is the fact that every single chapter like this is written where it's just the letter. And I didn't know that at first when I bought the book. So it's just letters. There's nothing in between. And it kind of made it feel disconnected as a result. They were writing to each other, but randomly just in one letter, he just like, Curl is just like, but then we fell in love with each other. And I was just like, when though? When? Like, everything felt kind of disconnected. But what was more annoying about the letter writing thing is that they both wrote letters on an event that they both were there for. And that doesn't really make sense to me. Like, it's one thing if, like, one person was there and they were writing a letter about something, but they would both be there and say Joe would write a letter saying his side of the story, and then Carl would write a letter saying his side of the story. So you're basically getting the same thing twice, but also, like, why are you writing letters if you were both there? Like, you were both there. You both know what happens. I think that this book would have been better if the letters were kind of like in between chapter things. Like, the letters were for things that both characters were not there for. Just like, hey, I hung out with my sisters and we were with my sister and her friend, and we were talking about you, and this is the conversation that happened. That's the letter Joe sends. And then a chapter where something that happened where the two of them were there is just like a regular prose chapter. Just like, not a letter, just regular, this is what happens. And then the next one would be like Carl saying something I think this book would be like infinitely better if that's the way it was written. And like I said at the beginning, it's not that this book is badly written, because it's beautiful. It's just everything feels disconnected with the way that it's written. I'm so disappointed. But my main criticism, I was going to give this book until this part a 3 stars. Like, it was boring, I felt disconnect, but overall it was fine. It was an okay book. I probably should have given it a 2 stars, but there were parts that I liked about it. Like, there's this entire thing about Joe being bullied by these kids in school, and I like the things that he was saying about that. And even though Joe was pretentious as fuck, I did like the fact that he was very much who he was, and he didn't care what those bullies said to him. He was still gonna be himself. But then this happened. So once again, spoilers, I'm gonna put a time card to where you can skip this if you want. But basically what happens is that Carl and Joe are sort of kind of broken up. It's like Friends with the we were on a break thing. Like, were they on a break? Were they not on a break? Were they broken up or were they not broken up? I don't really know. Basically what happened is that Carl and Joe, meow, meow, meow. No, they're having a fight. Sorry, it's been like a couple weeks since I read, and so things are starting to blur together a little bit. They were having a fight, and Carl went through like a PTSD attack and kind of like he punched a wall next to Joe's head. And then Carl sends him a letter after the situation happens and is like, we need to break up because I'm dangerous. Which, like, fair. And Joe is just like, you can say that, but I don't accept it. You can say you're breaking up with me, but I don't accept that we're breaking up. Which, you cannot be in a relationship with when the other person does not want to be in a relationship. But that's not even the worst part. Carl's uncle finds out that he has been seeing Joe because he finds the letters that Joe has sent him, and him and Carl's mother kick him out. So Braun comes and takes him to her house, and he's staying there, and her brothers are having a party. And at the same time, Joe and their father, Liam, are finding Shayna, and she is at a club that Liam does not want her to go to because it's the club that their mother used to sing at. And he finally tells them that the reason he didn't want her singing there was because their mother was a drug addict, a heroin addict, and the guy who owns the club was her supplier. And she gets mad because Braun is the one who told Liam where she was, and so she goes to yell and have a fight with Braun. And she sees Curl there, and Curl is trying to calm her down, takes her upstairs, and then long story short, they just fucking sleep together, which, like, bullshit, fucking so dumb. Like, technically they're not together, so it's not cheating, but even then, she knows that this is the guy that her brother was dating. She may not know that they've broken up, but she knows that they're together, and she just goes and sleeps with him. I fucking hate Shayna. Anyways, that's bad enough. But then, Joe walks in on the two of them sleeping together. Earlier in that day, he had fallen down basically a fucking ravine because of the bullies. And so he had taken some Percocet, which, why is Percocet just chilling around your house, Liam? You are an awful father. But he had just taken some Percocet, and he walks in and he sees the fact that his boyfriend and his sister are sleeping together. He goes downstairs and he gets drunk and he flirts with one of his bullies, and the bullies start to beat up on him. And then Curl, after, finishing the bullshittery that's going on upstairs, goes downstairs, see that his boyfriend, his ex-boyfriend, like I said, I don't even know anymore, sees he's being beat up and just beats the absolute shit out of the bullies. And then they don't really see each other, but they're still writing letters. It's so confusing. They're still writing letters to each other. That's bad enough. That was enough that I was just like, what is going on? But what makes me really angry about it is no one apologizes for the situation. Shayna doesn't apologize, and Curl does not apologize for what happened. Well, Curl does apologize, but he does it through letters. There's never a face-to-face time where he really apologizes for what he did with Shayna. And Shayna never apologizes. In fact, there's a part where Joe is just like, oh, well, instead you'll be sleeping with my boyfriend. And she's just like, what did you say to me? Doesn't apologize. What? I hate her. I hate her. So I'm just gonna have an I hate her compilation on Shayna because she's the worst character. I swear, she's awful. Anyways, that was bad enough. So, but another thing that really got me angry was Joe kind of has a breakdown, gets rid of all of his fancy antique clothing, just like starts dressing in jeans and a hoodie, just kind of goes on the deep end. He's very much depressed, which is fine. Like, that's an understandable reaction to finding out, 1, that your mother is a drug addict, 2, seeing your boyfriend sleep with your sister, 3, your sister moving away, even though I feel he shouldn't be, like, he shouldn't, like, still be friends with his sister when she doesn't apologize for the fact that she slept with his boyfriend. And just finding out that, like, his dad isn't the person that he was expecting. He's going through a lot, and I completely understand the fact that he just kind of, like, breaks down, and I get it. But the unacceptable thing is that there's a part where Curl comes to visit Joe, and Curl is very much like, I still love you, yada yada yada, and Joe's just like, I can't right now. And Curl, without asking, goes and kisses him. In this household, we love consent. We love and need consent. Hi, my name is Rory. If you do not have consent in your relationship, I automatically don't like it. I'm sorry. You need to, every single person in a relationship needs to be 100% willing to do anything. So the fact that Curl went up and kissed Joe when Joe beforehand was just like, I don't really want to, unacceptable. Immediately 1 star. I hate this book. After that happens, Curl, who's now living with his brother, gets in to a college because Joe sends their letters to the writing competition that his teacher was trying to put him into, and that gets him into college, which, okay, maybe. I personally don't believe it, but maybe. But then Curl talks to the college people and gets Joe to be able to take a summer seminar with him, and he goes to talk to him. That's where the unconsensual kiss happens, and Joe's just like, I don't want to do it. And then later on, somehow he goes to talk to Joe again, and they agree to fucking go to the seminar together and get back together. And that's how the book ends, is that they're going to the seminar together and they're back together, and that doesn't make sense. This book should have ended where they were not together. Like, it's acceptable if they have, like, maybe we'll get together. If it ended on a maybe we'll get back together, like, we'll try, let's be friends first, and maybe we'll get back together, I would have been okay. But they're back together, and that is unacceptable. And that's the reason why this book is bad. It's bad. If you like this book, it's fine. It's fine if you like it, because everyone has their own opinion. But I cannot accept the fact that there was maybe cheating, maybe not cheating. It depends on your opinion on if they're together or if they're not. But thoroughly shitty behavior, and no one apologized for it. And I also do not accept the fact that there was a kiss without consent. In fact, when there was probably opposite of consent, when one of the characters was like, I do not want this right now. And the fact that they ended up together, they should have ended up not together. And so that's my rant. I dropped the book again. It's fine. It deserves to be on the ground. I feel so negative, but just like, in the year of our Lord 2019, why are we still accepting this? Anyways, I'm done ranting now. I'm going to lay this book to rest. And anyways, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna end this video, so I'm just gonna say bye for now, everyone. Bye for now.
Here are some bloopers. Enjoy.
Hi everyone, it's Rory. Back at it again at Krispy Kreme. Damn it. Hi everyone, it's Rory. Back at it again with the white vans. Stop with the Vine references. Anyways, people, I just realized my fan is on. Fuck! / uncle is abusive. Holy shit. Oh my god. Hello? Yikes.